Welcome to Modern Sages podcast. Today, I feel so fulfilled. I feel so light and so loved. I just finished up our call with Mary Welp, who is the guest on the podcast today. She has been a creator of the RISE Hypnotic Meditation. And really, this has been an absolutely beautiful experience for me. We talked about RISE and how it can help us really question our thoughts and move us into a space of love, of light, of excitement. And she also leads us through a meditation about how we can release and to let go and stand in our power. And it was very beautiful. So at the end of this podcast, we also add her 15-minute meditation to empower you in that space. Are you searching? Are you looking for something new, something different? Are you being called to your ancestral roots? The Modern Sages podcast is a tribe of women that believe in exploring beyond the broken constructs of society. We believe in empowering women to embrace the medicine within, all with an open mind, baby. As always, before we dive into this conversation, I love to share an herb of the week to help implement and help us strengthen our connection to Mother Earth and finding healing. And this one's a little bit personal. So I've been really working with corn silk. And ever since I was little, I've always had a very weak bladder. And I know that those who are connected to emotions, having that bedwetting and having a hard time controlling your bladder can also be built up anger or resentment. And so I've been doing a lot of trying to release in that space and being aware of that. However, ever since I was little, I've had a harder time being able to control my bladder and I haven't had kids yet, so I'm like, "Oh man, this is going to be such a problem when I finally have kids and all of that." However, I recently started taking corn silk about 3 months ago, and I tell you it has helped immensely with strengthening my bladder and helping me that I don't have that issue. And it's also given me the courage to actually look in and see where my resentment lies and how that's showing up for me. And I do start to notice that if I'm having a rough day and I'm like, oh, I have to go to the bathroom so much more, or I can't hold my bladder. I just notice the energy connected to it and maybe what thoughts are in my space. But corn silk has been such a huge difference. I can tell when I haven't taken it, and at the herb shop that I work at, we do help that with children who have a hard time quitting wetting the bed at an older age. I was about 12 when I stopped wetting the bed, and it was just because I have had this blockage in my bladder, and so corn silk has been such a beautiful support in that space. So if that's something that you or your family members or your loved ones are struggling with, definitely look a little bit further into that to see if that would resonate with you or if it would help heal your body. But I am a firm 100% believer because I have struggled with that and it has helped immensely. So, without further ado, I wanted to just get our conversation started with Mary Welp, all about the beautiful Rise hypnosis meditation. I did want to share a little bit more about Mary Welp. So, Mary Welp has done craniosacral and hypnotherapy for about 20 years now. She's done body work and all kinds of stuff to help heal the body, mind, the soul. I feel so extremely blessed for this beautiful conversation. So I can't wait for us to just dive in and get started. Welcome, beautiful soul tribe. Today, I'm really interested in this conversation with Mary Welp. Is that how you pronounce it?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for the soul tribe to get to know Mary Welp. I'm excited to get to know her better. She teaches Rise Hypnotic Meditation. And so I'm just excited to just dive in with you and see how that can help our listeners and our soul tribe here. So, Mary, before diving into that, can you kind of just give us a little background about, who you are and where you're at in life, how you came to your beautiful medicine within?
Oh, I'd love to, Jen. I have been doing, I guess I was a bit of a late bloomer. I was 40 before I'd ever had a massage. before I'd ever heard the word chakra, before I really knew about the spiritual healing world that is my life now. But I kind of hit a wall. I had lost my father in a car accident, and it really disrupted my world. And it sent me to the core of who I am and what I'm supposed to be doing. It really led me to a moment of surrender, of just saying, okay, world, you got to show me what I'm supposed to be doing because I'm really lost. And so it did. It came, and I have been doing cranial sacral and hypnotherapy ever since then for the next 22 years. And I love the work. It's not only helped me to heal, but in watching and helping to facilitate other people's healings. It's just been such a beautiful path, and it's really brought me into myself. And when the pandemic happened, my one-on-one practice closed. I'd been in my, dark little office one-on-one for all these years. And I had this really drive and a passion that came about me. I really wanted to teach, instead of just working one-on-one, I wanted to get this method that I've been using with my clients out into the world and to start offering this to the world because it's a great self-help technique, and we're spending more time alone. We're spending more time with our own thoughts for the good and
Mm.
the bad of that.
Yes, absolutely.
And so there's ways to shift that, to get more positive in our thinking and to start tracking our thoughts. And so I've been traveling the last year and a half and teaching RISE Hypnotic Meditation. And it's really a marriage of self hypnosis and meditation.
That's
So
beautiful.
meditation for some is really hard because it's having to quiet down and shut the mind down or just watching the thoughts. So the self-hypnosis angle kind of gives the mind a job. It gives it something to do. And then RISE is an acronym for the four-step process. So I wanted to make it very simple and very easy to grasp, where you didn't have to put on headphones, you didn't need to get out a piece of paper or get your phone out in order to do this, that it would be a tool within each of us that we could access at any moment in time to shift our thinking, to shift our energy, to be more present, or however you need to use RISE in the moment.
That's beautiful. I'm excited to dive deeper into that space. I do have a question
Mhm.
before diving deeper into Rise. I know that there, and forgive me for asking, I'm not like
Oh, please.
in this, I'm very trusting in the space, but I know some people can have this weird connection to hypnotherapy and hypnosis. And how do you like help people navigate
Oh,
through that?
Jen, yeah, I tell you, I teach a 3-hour workshop and I spend a half an hour
Oh,
debunking
I'm
hypnosis.
I'm sure. Yeah, I just wanted to
It
touch
is.
on that
We
slightly.
No, you're so smart because we do need to talk about it. And what I need to share with people is that when you have witnessed hypnosis on the screen or on a stage or in that way, those people know that they're performing. They are up there performing with the hypnosis act. What I do is therapy. So it's a very personal one-on-one kind of thing. And really, we are in hypnotic stages many times of the day.
Mm,
When we miss that exit on the freeway, we're off in our thoughts, we're in a hypnotic state. When we lose time or gain time, it's because we're in a hypnotic state. So the body craves it, the mind craves it. It's a period of rest and reboot. So it's really what the body and the mind and the spirit crave and want for healing.
right, that
And
makes
you are
sense.
more aware, you are more present, you are more cognitive, really, under a hypnotic state than you are in a regular state. Because when you are in a hypnotic state, your answers are coming up from within. No one is telling you about a past life. No one is telling you, your answer or why maybe you have a trigger that you have or a fear that you have. The answer comes up from inside of you. And so that's what I really love about this therapy is that it's so individualized, but it's true to everyone. The body and the mind wants to heal. So the subconscious is going to bring whatever that next layer is that you need to address. It's going to bring it right up there for you so you can look at it and work on it.
Yeah, that makes total sense in the space that we naturally are experiencing that state of hypnosis often without even maybe being aware of it. So it does show that it's naturally what our soul and our essence is also here, to experience and to regroup and to recuperate. So I love that you pointed that out just so perfectly because I do feel like people have this sometimes this weird dogma. And of course, like with what I do in my life, I deal with dogma and all those things all of the time. So I'm like, let's just address it first and just get it out of the way so we
No,
can just
yes,
completely
there's a
be
movie
open.
that yeah. No, there's a movie that came out a few years ago called Get Out, and
Mhm.
it was kind of a horror thriller movie, and they used hypnosis a lot in the movie, and I loved this movie. It was, Jordan, it's from, Key and Peele. Jordan, was the director of this movie, and he wrote it, and I love him. I love the stuff that he does, but I was so disappointed because it was like, oh, now I'm going to have to explain even more because the movies and the theater and all take it very much out of context.
Yes, absolutely. Well, beautiful. Thank you so much. So, what, I guess, so you talked about you working with people and how this hypnotic meditation really came about. So kind of what was the starting point of that as you were working with other people and helping them move into that space? What led you to create this RISE formula?
Well, at the time, it wasn't really called RISE, but I was teaching my clients self hypnosis so that they could work on whatever issue they had between sessions. So if I was working with someone for weight loss or something that wasn't really body centered that the cranial sacral could help with, or energetic that the cranial sacral could help with, it was more a thought pattern. Then I kind of found myself being a mental coach and saying, well, this is, look at it this way, and giving people that tool. And so I invited them to relax themselves and go in and ask their questions or do whatever work we were doing to keep it going, because I may not be able to see them for another 2 or 3 weeks. And so you lose a
Right.
lot of time there, where they could be, you know, continuing their growth. So when the pandemic happened and I was sitting home and everything was quiet, and I had been thinking for some time that I wanted to teach, or that I had more to share than what I was doing. That
Mm,
my experience was kind of leading me. That cup was getting pretty full, and I was ready to share and to kind of dump. And so I was really sitting home, and it wasn't quiet. My phone was going off. The television was on in front of me, but it really RISE came to me, and it was the perfect acronym. It was the
that's
perfect four
beautiful.
steps to something really simple. I love the meaning of RISE and that
Yeah,
we are rising all the time. And it was, oh, there it is. And then once that came and I had that inspiration, or it came to me, then it was like, okay, I have something I need to deliver, that I need to start sharing, and that I need to start helping people with, because these are skills that I sure wish I had when I was younger. I wish that I'd known then what I know now. And
Absolutely.
people suffer a lot with their thoughts, and they
Yes.
don't need to. If they
Well,
want to shift them, they can.
yeah, and I know in your video that I watched too, you talk about how we live about 95% of the day in our subconscious mind. So really that's showing that we have like 5% of like what we're actually conscious with about what's going on in that space,
Yeah.
which to
Yeah.
me makes total sense, but it's just kind of crazy to think about.
Well, and it's, yeah. So our life is pretty automatic, you
Yeah.
know, my hand gestures are what they are. They've always been that way. The way I speak, the way I
Yeah.
carry myself,
Uh-huh.
the foods I love, it's all kind of automatic. And, we change over time. And if I were still acting out of my subconscious of my 20s, it probably wouldn't be a very pretty picture in the 62-year-old body, and this grandmother here sitting here before you. So
I
I
love
think
that.
it's important to also look at our subconscious and look at what our programming is and what our triggers are, and do we still need them? Are they still helping us, or are they hurting us?
Yeah.
And are you ready to let some of them go?
Absolutely. Yeah. So in honor of letting them go, what are the 4 steps to rise?
Well, the first one, R, stands for relax. So that's where you do a progressive relaxation or just kind of breathe into your body and go inward. When I first started learning meditation, I had the false idea that you want to go out of body when you do hypnosis. You want to go out into the heavens somewhere and your answers are up there and you pull it back down. And body work told me that that's really not true, that our information and our programming is on a cellular level. It is in us, it's in our DNA, it's in our cells, it's in our tissue. So R is really moving your concentration and your thoughts inward inside your body. And then I stands for imagine. So once you've got yourself grounded and quiet, you want to think of a really beautiful place, somewhere where you can relax. I love nature and the woods. Some people love the beach. Some people, when I've guided them through this, they'll end up somewhere where they went as a child that they loved, a fort that they had, or a bedroom, or their grandmother's attic, or somewhere that they just naturally feel comfortable. And then I is suggest. So when you're relaxed, our subconscious is very open to suggestion. So what we're really doing is we're just planting a suggestion into the subconscious of the behavior that we would like to have more of. So, for example, if it's patience and you're wanting more patience, then that's something that you can go in and ask for and address and make that bigger and blow that up more in your life.
Mm.
And there's ways to do that. You can also do it through visualization, through seeing your challenge as an obstacle, as an object. So, for example, if you're working with anger, you could see it as a red hot ball of flame, and you put it into the water and watch it sizzle and turn blue, and the steam rises, and you watch that energy be transformed. And then E is when you feel empowered. You just shifted something that's huge. How is your life going to be different? How are you going to be different with people? How are they going to be different with you? If you gave up chocolate, you're going to start seeing chocolate everywhere. So what are you going to do when you see chocolate?
Yeah.
Coming up with that and feeling empowered by it. And Columbia and Harvard University have both done studies that when you stand in the superhero pose, that it actually has a physiological effect on the body. It decreases your cortisol by 25% and increases your testosterone by 8%. So you're creating power physiologically in your body by standing in
Wow.
this pose for 2 minutes or 120 seconds. So you've got to time it out, you got to give it that amount of time, but you're really chemically shifting your body by just feeling that power that you have.
That's
So I also love
fascinating.
that Wonder Woman. She's got those gold bands on her wrist too. So when the chocolate comes back out at you, you shoot it back. So or whatever the issue is that you're dealing with. So our mind loves
Wow.
story. So by working with story, it really helps things to shift really quickly.
Yeah. Well, and you hear a lot too how people say that your mind doesn't necessarily know the reality of like what's going on so you can shift it in that space. That really resonates with me too, like all of it, especially when you're speaking about the R of anchoring that in your body and experiencing that because there is so much out there of exploring the cosmos and not being present in your body a lot of times to be able to experience healing. And so being anchored in your body and like honoring that, that really resonates with me too, because there's so much beauty in that. And of course, we're
Yeah.
here to indulge and to be in our body. And so I don't know, I think that's really absolutely beautiful.
But people that have had trauma, that's really uncomfortable
It's
for them.
hard. Oh, I'm sure.
It's
Yeah.
really hard. So it's really starting there to where you can feel comfortable in your body, to where
Wow.
it feels safe for you to ask these questions and to be ready to shift some things.
Yeah.
So it's, with some people, and I've worked with pretty severe trauma in victims, and sometimes you have to start with your favorite flavor of ice cream, or their favorite flavor of ice cream, and just, build from what feels good, what, is good on your tongue, what feels that coolness in your mouth and that creaminess. And then you build from that and other things that they love and that they have in their lives. But, our minds can do tricks on us because our mind's main job is safety. So
Mhm.
it is always going to be scanning the room for safety. We're always going to judge. We're always going to look for danger. We're always going to expect danger. So when you know that, and you know you're reacting out of this mind that's hyper vigilant all the time, you can kind of tone it down. You can turn the dial down a little bit and say, okay, I don't need to be so hyper vigilant. I'm older
Yeah.
now. I can take care of myself. I've got my back. I have precautions so that I can stay safe. And so it's safe for me now to relax inside my body.
Oh,
But our
that's
minds will
beautiful.
always jump really quickly to that safety. Am I safe? So we'll often stay on the couch and say, no, I better not do that because it feels more safe. And I think the pandemic has really made us feel that I need to stay on the couch and I need to stay safe. But then
Yeah.
our minds start playing crazy tricks on us too.
Yeah, absolutely. So have you found with RISE that it helps people have a better understanding of their thoughts?
I think so because when you start looking at your thoughts as things, then you can change the things.
Mm.
You can swap them out, you know? My anger used to be this red hot ball, vile, burning, whatever.
Yeah, right.
And now it is blue and it is soft and it is kind. And it is, you really want to blow up what you would like to have more of in your life and then decrease and really make small that which is holding you back or hindering you.
Yeah.
And the mind can be trained like you train your dog. It is really that simple. You give it treats, you give it repetitive, you keep asking it. The first time you ask it to sit, it's not going to. But, by the end of that first week, it will sit for you and take that treat. And the same
Right.
with our mind. When we can sit and practice meditating and practice just recognizing what we are thinking. And is this really what I want to be thinking? Is this really a healthy thought?
Yes.
And then we can shift them once we kind of see them as things.
Yeah, absolutely. So I see behind you, you have a book, the RISE book as well. So for someone who's really wanting to get started or dive deeper, what was the purpose of writing that book and how does that go along with, of course, what you've been sharing?
Well, I started teaching workshops and I first went to yoga studios because they're very open to meditation and they're very open to helping people have healthier lives. And they were very open to me, but I would fill these workshops and then within the week right before they would dwindle down really small because of the pandemic, because someone would get sick or someone in the family would get sick or the fear would rise.
Right.
And so about a year ago, I thought, well, I've got to shift. I got to, punt. My past game is not working. So I thought I need to write the book. And then if I can put the book out on Amazon, then people that are interested in it and also do podcasts like what I'm doing here with you, Jen, just to
Yeah.
kind of get the word out there. So I wrote the book. It's 90 pages. It's real power packed
Oh,
and
I
it
like
tells you
that.
how to use Rise and and all the ways you can use it. In the back, there's 25 or 30 different ways, like Rise for surgery, Rise for self-esteem, Rise for bad habits, for weight loss, for sleep. And it gives you ideas on how to springboard your practice of Rise Hypnotic Meditation. And so I tell you why it works and how it works, and then break it down in the parts so that you can, again, make your own practice of it. And it's on Amazon,
That's
and you can get
beautiful.
it there or through the website is probably also a good way to. There's some videos on the website, so if you want to just hear more of the Rise meditations, you can connect with them there. I think there's one for guilt, one for patience, and a couple of other ones. And also I have a video on why Rise works, because I think we need to get to that critical thinking part of the
Yes.
brain and explain why that it's not, that it's based on science.
Right. And I think it's beautiful also to know that I feel like so many times it always comes back to meditation and being mindful and standing in that space. But when someone's just getting started, or maybe like you said, there's been a lot of trauma or it's not safe to be able to do that, I love the fact that this also can help them have that basic, not that this is basic, but have the foundation to be able to sit with that and to have that healing because so many people I know are like, "Well, I can't meditate. I can't sit still."
Right.
or maybe hypnosis is a little bit fearful for them, but, like, I feel like this is a really safe and effective way to bridge that gap, to also see that our thoughts and our mind are part of being human, and our soul came here to experience that, and so that doesn't mean it has to run the show all the time and put us into a dark spiraling hole, but it's also a way for us to look at our human journey and who we are and why we're doing what we're doing, and so I think that's beautiful.
Thank you. And I think just to question our thoughts too. I think too
Yeah.
often, if we think it, we believe it, and it's not necessarily true. We gravitate towards information that will feed the beliefs that we already have. So if you were raised with a certain belief system, you've only accepted that information that really benefited that and agreed with that. So as you get older or as you change in life, I think it is important to look at what we believe in and our values and why we have those values, and are they still relevant to who we are today and the life that we want to have.
Yeah, I completely agree, and since 2020, I feel and I always say this, that so many have like you said, they're in this space of, "Well, what now? How do I move forward?" So I love what you mentioned there. Do you offer any workshops or any online things?
Yes, I just finished my first teacher certification class. So I've certified 5 other teachers of RISE Hypnotic Meditation, which
Oh,
makes me really
wow.
happy. They're from different places around the country. And then I also teach RISE as a 3-hour workshop. So if you'd like to just learn how to do RISE, I'm teaching it locally in Kentucky. I live in Louisville, Kentucky. So in Bardstown, I'll be teaching that in November. But I also love to travel and to teach. So if you have a group that is interested in it, please reach out. I'd be happy to help to offer more support. And then there'll be more virtual classes coming online as Rise develops more.
That's amazing. First of all, congratulations on having,
Thank you.
your first workshop in that space. I know that's probably so rewarding to just see how, even 2 years ago, this launch into this new space, and I bet too for you, it's kind of been a space of growth where it's like, a little bit outside the comfort zone, but
Oh,
also so
so
good.
really, I worked with a speech coach for a while this summer.
Uh-huh.
It's like I'd never thought I'd be public speaking, but I was presenting Rise at a couple conferences, and they were 1-hour talks that I needed to stand up and kind of have my stuff together. So I thought, well, I better learn. And the just doing podcasts and the virtual worlds, the digital world, oh,
Right.
lost a few more hairs over that, but I've learned a lot too. I've learned a
Yeah.
lot that
Well,
I'd never needed before.
yeah, I love it because it's just, your medicine in action. And I think that
Mhm.
it's easy for us to sit in our house and be in this space where we're just using the medicine for ourselves and maybe slightly getting out there. But, when we really have this space of prompting, it's like, okay, I'm just going to trust spirit and we're just going to move forward to whoever needs to hear this is going to hear it and bring it in. So I love that
You're
you're
so right.
medicine in
It's been
motion.
driving me. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I know that we have you you're gonna also share, a meditation with us as well.
Love to.
But we'll also, of course, in the show notes have your website, how they can get a hold of you to get the book or look at your videos or do any of the meditations that you offer there. So I'm just really excited to see how the tribe really resonates in this space and moves forward. So I'm just so grateful for your wisdom, and I am excited to actually also take part in, Rise Hypnotic Meditation because I find myself back and forth where some days I can be still and meditate, other days I'm like, when I
Yeah.
sit down, I just can't do it.
Very
And so
natural.
it'll
Yeah.
be nice to have a different method to be able to do that as well.
Great. I'd love to talk you through it.
Yeah. Is there anything else on your side? If you just check in with your heart, if there's anything else that you feel like you want to share or address on your side, I always like to ask that because we all have this beautiful message of channeling, and so I just wanted to check in that space with you. And if not, that's totally fine too.
No, the only thing that's coming to mind is this line that I've used often, but that thoughts are things.
Hmm.
So Don't think they don't count. Don't think that they're small or that was just a thought. It doesn't mean anything. Thoughts are things, they have energy, and that energy creates our life and how we sit in
Absolutely.
our life. So make sure those things that are in your life represent who you are
Oh,
and
I
the
love
best
that.
part of who you
Yeah, that sparks this inside of me is sometimes I will get frustrated or maybe I'll project like an annoyance or a heavy feeling or an emotion on, one of my loved ones close around, which I think that we all can do
are.
that.
Yes.
But
Yes.
I've been recently been working more in the Akashic records and just being in that space, but I learned that our energy and like what we put out or what we think about others also has an energy imprint. And so when you're saying your thoughts or things is it really does affect your energy. It affects who you are. And so, if I'm really frustrated at someone for a moment or, if me and my husband are like not getting along, just for like that moment, it's
Mhm.
easy to be like, "Oh, you're doing this and this and this." And I just have noticed like I almost imagine myself now when I get in those spaces as if I'm like going out there with a big butterfly catching net. And like as I catch those thoughts or those heavy vibrations that I've placed in his space and in my space, it's like it'll like catch it and then it turns into white light. So then it's not like in the space of either of us, which when you said that, I'm like, oh, that totally makes sense because everything has purpose, it has a vibration. And so thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, no, you're doing RISE. That is RISE. What you just described, that is RISE.
That's so
Yeah.
beautiful. Yeah, we
Yeah.
can all
There's a scenario that I talk people through and they're sitting on the riverbank watching their thoughts as things floating down the river and how polluted that river can look. But you can
mm,
also get that fish net or the butterfly net,
reel it in.
and fish those things out. Go bury them behind you. Okay. That's not helping. That's polluting. You can go.
I love that. That's amazing.
Great. We're on the same page.
Yay, that's beautiful. Well,
Mhm.
awesome. Well, I'm excited for you to, you know,
Yeah.
help us step into this meditation. And of course, is this something, do you have anything like in preparation for those who are listening?
The only thing I would ask that if you're driving the car, maybe turn it off for now and wait until you get home. You want to, or if there's a lot of chaos going on around you're cooking dinner, listening to this, maybe turn it off and wait until tonight and then listen to it then. This will just take about 15 minutes. But what I'd like to do is offer the opportunity for whatever you feel is a challenge you have in your life right now, and you are the one who can name that, but setting that intention of what you would like to move, the energy you would like to move, and what you would like to have more of. What would you like to replace it with? And then I'd love to talk you through a scenario that'll do just that. So if you
Beautiful.
would, get quiet, close your door, turn your phone off, get comfortable, get your blanket and your pillow out. If you're sitting at your desk and you can't leave, you're kind of, I got to sit here and look like I'm working, then I like to put my head in my hands or even put my head down on the desk. But just give your body an opportunity to let go of any heaviness or any holding up that it's doing. So we just want to give the body some time. So I'm going to talk you through here a scenario that'll just help connect you with your body and check different places in your body and relax them. So if you would, when you get all quiet and snuggle down, just begin to imagine a warm pool of energy at the soles of your feet. And this warm energy is just swirling around, doing circles and figure eights. It's kind of tingly and it's light in color. And on your next inhale, allow it to move up through the soles of your feet, relaxing your feet and your ankles. And then on your next inhale, draw it up through your shins and your calves. Allow this warm, relaxing energy to swirl around your knees for a moment. relaxing that big joint that supports us. And then relax your thighs. On your next inhale, take a big inhale and draw that energy up into your pelvic bowl and your hips. There's so many layers of tissue in your hips. Just allow this warm, relaxing energy to fill all of that space. And then draw it up into your belly, your abdomen, relaxing your stomach and your liver, relaxing all of your digestive organs. Notice your respiratory diaphragm a little more relaxed and a little more even. Allow this energy to keep spilling upward and filling your chest, filling your lungs, both lungs, and then also allow it to swirl around the muscles of your heart, relaxing your heart. Just feeling warm and relaxed. Allow the energy to fill your right shoulder. And when you feel like that energy is really full on that right shoulder, open up the valve and let it spill down through your right arm and out the fingers and the thumb of your right hand. And then your left shoulder. Allow it to fill and to build that left shoulder, relaxing that big joint. And when it feels full and relaxed, allow the energy to spill down your left arm and out the fingers and the thumb of your left hand. Relax your throat, relax your neck. Allow the energy to spill up over the top of your head, relaxing your scalp and even your hair. Take another deep breath into your jaw and really relax your jaw and your face. Now feeling deeply relaxed and at ease from the top of your head down to the tips of your toes. I'd like you to imagine yourself out in a beautiful field. It's a grassy field, maybe there are wildflowers. Just look down at your feet and notice where you're standing. Notice the ground beneath you, the color of the dirt, if you can see that, and the color of the vegetation that's around you. And then look up and notice the sky over your beautiful field. And is the sun shining today? And if it is, can you feel it on your skin? Can you feel the warmth on your face and on your arms? Are there any clouds? And what color blue is the sky? And then notice if you feel a breeze. Is the wind blowing? Do you hear it rustling through the trees that are around you on the outskirts of your field? Do you hear any vegetation or any animals? Do you hear any chipmunks or squirrels rustling through the leaves? Or any birds overhead? Now feeling very relaxed and at ease in this safe and beautiful field. I'd like you to notice there's a row of trees at the edge of the field, and I'm going to count you down from 10 to 1. And as I do, I'd like you to walk over into that row of trees and just walk back into the woods. It's very safe. It's very beautiful. So you're there alone. So from 10 down to 9, just notice yourself take a step on this dirt path back into the woods. To 8, to 7, feeling loose, limp, and relaxed. To 6, to 5, you're almost floating out, so easy. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Ahead of you in the woods, there's a big hole in the ground. And around this hole in the ground are boxes. And these boxes represent that which you are ready to let go of, that which has been holding you back, that which is time for you to surrender. You may know what some of these boxes are, and some of them you may not. And you don't need to know them. You just need to throw them into that hole in the ground. So your job is to go around that hole and kick or push each and every box you find into that hole. Take your time and be very thorough, and just nod your head for me when you're done so I know you're good. Now bury them. There's all that extra dirt from when the hole was dug, that's around the hole. So bury them deep. You can get a shovel out, you can use a bulldozer, you can use your hands, your feet, whatever way suits you to fill the dirt over those boxes. And when your hole is filled in your time, no rush, in your time, when you're done, I'd like you to stand up on the mound of dirt that you've created and envision yourself in the superhero pose, feeling that in your body. Your spine very tall and strong, your legs in an A-frame, the crown of your head pointing up towards the sky, your fists on your hips, feeling powerful and strong and tall. It's beautiful that you've done this practice, that you were willing to surrender what holds you back and what you no longer need anymore. And consider all that you're going to gain now that you have surrendered that which has been holding you back. How much more fulfilling your life will be, how much happier you will be, how much more on your path you will be. And give yourself credit and pride for that. It's a beautiful thing to fight for yourself and to fight your thoughts for yourself. Take that in, feel proud and feel strong. And take one last look around your woods, giving it thanks, giving the ground and the earth thanks for taking that which no longer suits us. And then bring yourself back to the room where you're seated, feeling your feet and your fingers. And then whenever you are ready in your time, open your eyes. Come back to the present.
Wow, that was amazing. That was so beautiful. Thank you for that. I felt
You're
like
welcome.
I just feel like I'm like reset and ready to go for the rest of the day. But in the process, it was interesting because I found myself in a cornfield and I went to like this corn stalk that I needed to like cut off the moldy or the rotten pieces. And when you're saying like
Yeah,
bury them, I was like burying them in the ground and then like reshaping this stalk so it could have new regrowth. So when you were like saying the trees and stuff, it was like it was still the same concept, but it was just like for whatever reason I was in a cornfield. So that's kind of interesting.
perfect. And thank you for not fighting that and going with it. And as I
Yeah,
said before, your subconscious knows where you need to go. It knows what you resonate with. It knows your stories. And
right.
that was the story that it could explain to you. You need to cut off this dead stuff.
Yeah.
That's
But
beautiful.
which I think
Thank you for
is
sharing.
yeah, which is perfect too because, as one is stepping into that space, even with this guided energy and connection, if it's your something else is popping up, like it's okay to explore that and just keep going with what this meditation is because there's purpose in all of that, which
Yes.
was so
And that's
beautiful.
why
So thank you.
you are so welcome. And I think that's why it is a self-help practice. because it is
Yeah.
different for each of us. And if you learn it, then you can just go wherever, you need to heal. It will allow you to heal.
It's
It's
so
beautiful.
beautiful. Well, thank
Thank
you
you, Jen.
so much for, being a part of the Modern Stages podcast, and who you are, Mary, is such a space of love, of light, of hope for many people. And I just want to really thank you for listening to your heart's call and stepping into that space, even though it's uncomfortable at times. Like, you are making a difference, and your guides, your loved one, your ancestors are walking the path with you, and they're just like gleaming. I can just feel the love and the
You make me want to
sun
cry. It's beautiful.
around you with them as well. So thank you so much for our time. And
Absolutely.
once again, I'll put all of your information down below, so if people want to get in touch with you, they have that ability. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Have
Yes.
a beautiful day.
You as well. Thank you. Do you feel called to connect to your medicine within? Have you wanted to strengthen your spiritual gifts? Are you looking for ways to incorporate the sacred into your everyday life? Maybe do you want to have like-minded friends in a tribe who can connect with you? Modern Sages Soul Tribe is dedicated to spiritual seekers like yourself who are embracing the medicine within. Now, in this tribe, we are going to be doing moon gatherings, amazing spiritual gift giveaways, connecting to a soul tribe, as well as hosting mystery school classes. If you are feeling called to connect to the soul tribe, I will leave a link for you in the show notes. Thank you so much for listening to Modern Sages Podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel or follow us online. Blessings.